Boom. Hello, legends. How we doing? So this is tragic news. British paratrooper killed in Ukraine. So rest in peace to George Hooley, who was 28. When I was 28, I shouldn't have been entrusted to tie my shoelaces, let alone make a decision whether I was to go off and be responsible for the, what essentially, let's be honest, is the slaughter of God knows how many people. Also, I certainly would want to be made aware that I wasn't fighting on the side of freedom and democracy for a better future for our children. I was actually fighting for a criminal empire, a global mafia, the likes of which in Ukraine was funded by Ihor Kolomoisky, who brought a certain gay S&M music video actor to power through his television company. I'm just wondering, no disrespect to young George, bless him, whether he knew any of this sort of stuff or whether he's just, been used. So let's get into it, friends. Hello again, legends. We're back. So I'm Chris Thrall. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando. If I can ask you to like and subscribe, and the reason for that is we are being lied to on a massive, massive scale. There's a cabal, a global mafia, a dark network, and they've been in play now for far too long. They're playing you through your health narrative. Some of you might have noticed something questionable going on in the mass mainstream media at the minute. A lot of fear-mongering and gaslighting. And we're going to get all the "you're responsible for killing Granny" BS again. They're responsible for the wars that our young military go off to fight thinking it's for king and for country. And of course it's not. It's just to make these evil psychopaths, these inbred scroungers, these Babylonian money magicians, that's usury for those of you familiar with the expression, to make them even more powerful for their new world order than they already are. So I'm a former Royal Marines Commando. I took an oath in the sense of, like, I joined up to actually defend our children, and someone's got to start speaking out of this. So if you can like and subscribe, you'll help me. Because what's coming off the back of this is they're destroying you. They're hiding your beautiful life essence from you, your true nature of who you are. This is why people are suffering chronically with mental health, with anxiety, with depression, etc., etc. This is why everyone's so desperate to have new messiahs that they can follow in London and march around thinking that they're actually achieving something all the time, while the cabal literally laugh at them, because these people they're not normal, folks. They hate you. They hate you with a passion so much that when you're sat down watching your favorite TV program that you think so awesome, they're actually subtly using something called brainwaves to slowly indoctrinate you into what is commonly referred to as the Matrix, because they hate you so much they want you dead. They want to keep shoving stuff in your body, there's a little clue there, and your children's bodies, to make you sicker and sicker and sicker, so that you go to their cabal indoctrinated medical profession looking for emancipation and freedom from your pain. And what do? They pile more of that toxic stuff on you with no explanation of why you're ill or what is the natural way out of it. So like and subscribe, folks, and I can help you with all this. So in no particular order, I'm going to locals in a minute. There's a link running along the bottom of the screen, or there's a link in the description box below this video for my locals platform. It's a freedom of speech platform where I can just go over there and just talk normally to the wonderful people who will walk in that spiritual battle and actually standing up for the kids. We've got a good thing going on over there. This video I'm going to do in a minute over there will be for the paying supporters. So there we go. There's the link. It's £3 a month, folks. I'm not apologising if you don't want to pay that. That's your prerogative. But don't have a go at me, because believe it or not, I have to pay for things just like you do. So let's get into it. Okay, this is Lance Corporal George Hooley. I think he was the Special Forces support group who recruit from mainly Paras, Marines. I think the RAF regiment probably recruit across the army. I'm not sure how strict their entry requirements are. I'd imagine they're a little bit higher than the normal. But I know that it does attract people that want to be out there having a bit more of a role, a bit more of a hands-on the job, supporting the actual Special Forces unit. So that's the SBS and the SAS. I'm not going to do this to death, folks. I just wanted to highlight here, look, paying tribute at Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Sir Keir Starmer said Lance Corporal Hooley was injured in a tragic accident away from the front lines, whilst observing Ukrainian forces testing a new defensive. That shit talk for basically, I think you can work it out. You can't be neutral in this capacity, can you? You're not over there just, I just happened to rock up in Ukraine one day in all my uniform with the full backing of London. And I just happened to watch some Ukrainian guys screwing around with a bit of equipment, and they screwed it up, and I died. Essentially, I think that they're gaslighting you there, folks, because the indoctrinated masses in their main matrix with their mainstream media will just be like, oh no, he wasn't part of the war. Oh no. So, yeah, I think once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm not the only. The incident has been reported as a malfunction or mishap during the live trial of a defensive system, possibly UK supplied or Ukrainian adapted technology like anti-air or drone defences. And I think Andrew Bridgen is on the same track as I am in saying, if NATO and its defence rules only apply when convenient to them, I ask, what credibility does NATO hold? So he's kind of echoing my sentiment, isn't he? Okay, so like I say, once again, rest in peace to George, and respect to his family and his loved one and his friends. It's he's out in his mind. He's doing the righteous thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, folks, is there? It's just that us oldies, we've got to be sort of educating people. The whole Ukrainian conflict was Kolomoisky, global, multi-billionaire oligarch, big global mafia central, folks. Brought Zelensky to power through his TV company by putting him in. Zelensky was like a gay, sadomasochist music video actor. That was like his background. He used to play the piano with his, exactly. Yeah, I totally can see why you're going, what, really? How come he became the premier in Ukraine? Because the global mafia recruited him because they're all in the same dark network of influence, Kolomoisky and Zelensky. And through Kolomoisky's TV company, he brought Zelensky to power through a TV program, which was called Voice of the People, or some such thing, and in which Zelensky played this very friendly schoolteacher who was incorruptible in a country, Ukraine, notorious for its corruption. And then when Zelensky took on a political role, of course, the people, all at the sort of level of Strictly, isn't it, went, oh, well, he was great in that TV show, so let's vote him in as president. You know, this will end well. And at the same time, Kolomoisky is funding the Azov, which were a right-wing military brigade that hate communists. They also hate people from a certain religion that I'm not going to say, just to, you know, let's be a bit careful here. And if you think that the Azov hate those people, and then you think of who Zelensky is and who Kolomoisky is, then you can see that you're being absolutely, I was going to say in a certain place, you're being screwed over. So we need to wake up to this, folks. It's a global mafia. They control everything. They're trying to control the digital currency now. I had a great chat this morning with Satoshi, and he unveiled absolute amazing truth to me, or his truth at least, with respect to Bitcoin and the truth behind it. So that podcast will be coming soon. Moving swiftly on, Russia's on the bandwagon with this, obviously. So basically, Zelensky brought to power, chucking rockets into the Donbass region, which is Donbass is like the people that affiliate with being Russian. Just through historical factors, the border has come down and they've been part of Ukraine. But because of the notion of Russian separatist rebels in the area, that's given Zelensky, that's given the global mafia the excuse they need to keep shelling that area. Despite, was it the Minsk Accords and Minsk Agreements saying that don't keep, shelling these people, because, and why did they keep shelling them? They kept shelling them because then it makes Putin look weak if he doesn't retaliate and stand up for these people that align with being Russian. Does that make sense? So he's got to come in and be seen to protect them. And if you ask me, Putin's controlled by the exact same global mafia. I think the Bolsheviks, as Zelensky is. So it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all a game. This was the podcast awards. It's some Hollywood Golden Globes thing, and someone's just pointed out here that the Golden Globes, they've now got a podcast award. I don't know who it went to. I really don't, and I won't. Let's not get into that. But basically, they didn't even mention Sean Ryan and Joe Rogan, who, love them, like them, or hate them, folks. The two of the biggest names in the podcast world, or the two, which just shows you cabal again, isn't it? Controlling people, gaslighting people through the narrative, through the mainstream. And one of the biggest ways they gaslight people is through Hollywood. When people think of the Second World War narrative, they've got it all in their head, and there was this bad guy, and there were these, and then there was this thing going on over. Where did they get that from? They get it from Hollywood. They've never read a book on it, ever. They get it from the Hollywood. And if they were to read a book, guess what? Cabal own the publishing industry, control the publishing industry. The only books you're going to get to read are the ones that they've gone, oh, that supports our narrative. Do you see what I'm saying? It's only when you go to independent authors, and there's a few cracking historians out there, isn't there? Could someone put the name in the comments section, that you realise you've been lied to your whole life. So there we go. Moving swiftly on. so many people are waking up, folks. Let's go to the positive first. And you remember, it's not just about awakening, it's about enlightening, which is something, almost completely different. But being awake is a good start. A lot of people are starting to realise there's a small stolen land in the East that operate not in our best interests. Does that make sense? Do you remember when the border miraculously came down for like 8 hours and a load of rebels, sub-Saharan mercenaries, were allowed to patrol across it, and at the same time a certain defence force went full bore, exercising what they call the Hannibal Directive, and literally levelled everybody at a music festival. Yes, you heard that right. So, and then of course it was blamed on a group without the public really being told who started that group and who funds that group, I think through Qatar, the group whose name, think of a rebel group whose name begin with H, then you start to get the picture. But it's coming out, folks. People aren't stupid. People aren't naive to this anymore. This is footage from a certain day, let's just have a flick through. I can't play this, folks, but you can see stuff going boom there. That's a certain defence force indiscriminately shooting anyone and blowing them up, trying to escape from a certain festival, right? We're all on the same wavelength now, aren't we? Got to stop buying these official narratives, folks. You'd have thought people would have learnt from New York and Washington. This is another thing. This is on the BBC.
The BBC World Service has compiled material on over 160 cases where children have been shot in Gaza and found that in 95 cases, the child was shot in the head or the chest. In most of these cases, the victim was under 12 years old. The cases we found run from the first weeks of the war up to July this year. The BBC World Service has compiled material on over...
Okay. Between you and me, why the BBC are coming out with this? What with their, what's their truth thing called? Somebody put it in the comments. BBC Verify, isn't it? With the lovely Mariana. Why they're going against their paymasters here, I've got no idea, folks. But just think of a nation so evil and so indoctrinated. I'm not trying to create another here, folks. They're, people over there are just us in a different body, aren't they? They're the universe experiencing itself subjectively. They've just been so brainwashed their whole life that they're the special people. Because what's happened, as far as I can see, is in history, groups step forward, basically out of where modern day Ukraine is, sorry, losing me words, Ukraine is, a place called Khazaria. And they stepped forward and said, do you know what? Why don't we just pretend like that we're these people in that Bible? Not because very few people understand that the Bible is an allegory. It's not a history book and it's not a geography. It's not about places. It's all about your journey, which takes place inside your body, to your self-fulfillment, which is done through understanding your body's biochemical mechanism, which, as Bob Marley says, emancipates you from mental slavery. Basically by firing off your pineal and your pituitary gland, serotonin and DMT, referred to in scripture as milk and honey. That's it. So you enter the milk and honey. It's not talking about a place in the East. It's not. It's talking about your emancipation. So this group of, vagabonds have jumped on that bandwagon. They've created this narrative. It's so strong that it created a whole, let's just say so many people actually inbreeding, keeping their marriages in their own family because they were so petrified of losing their wealth or of not being the most religious and pious, you know, letting in sort of outsiders. This has resulted in what is actually proven through scientific theory to be mental illness. Yes, bad, isn't it, when you put it like that? But how else can you explain people willing, not just conducting a genocide, but laughing as they do it? And as this, news article was highlighted, purposely sniping children in the head for laughs. It's mental. So have a look at this.
Who is Netanyahu?
Do you remember what I said? I said certain groups of people came off the Russian steppe, basically the Turkish, Russian, Ukrainian region, laying claim to be something that physically can't exist because scripture is allegory.
Watch this video.
They call themselves Netanyahu, but it's just a stolen name, a Hebrew mask plastered over a European exile's face. His real name was Milikowski, born of Ashkenazi lineage from Poland. Benjamin Netanyahu has neither the blood, nor the land, nor the language of those he claims to represent.
Because nobody does. It's an allegory.
His Judaism is not that of the shepherds of Hebron, nor the poets of Jaffa. It is the Judaism of a colonizer from elsewhere who put on the prophet's robe to hide the scent of ashes.
Okay, I think we get the point. The whole world is being dragged around by its, whatever that expression is, by a guy who's just an absolute faker, and it's worth calling this out. So we all know about the Balfour Agreement, the creation of a certain stolen state that shouldn't really exist, as the Rothschilds fiefdom with which to conduct their New World Order. No surprise that Tony Blair's right in there with Israel's favourite billionaire. Let's have a look at this.
For nearly a year, my colleagues and I have been investigating the Tony Blair Institute and Larry Ellison, the second richest man in the world. And what we found shocked us. Larry Ellison is a fascinating character. He is the second richest man in the world, second only to Elon Musk, who is his good friend. Ellison is very close with the Israeli government. He's close with Benjamin Netanyahu.
I have spent time to the people who govern the state of Israel. I feel a deep emotional connection to the state of Israel and the Israeli people, defended by all the brave men and women of the IDF. So anything we can do to support them.
He has donated large amounts to the friends of the IDF. He's their biggest donor. Ellison is co-founder.
So just remember, folks, this is the guy that gleefully is supporting the massacre of children who are being shot in the head and the chest. And he thinks that's something to be proud of. If you're ever in doubt, these people are not normal, there you go.
Founder of Oracle, which is a cloud computing company which has been around for decades now. Today, Oracle is on the verge of taking over the US version of TikTok, which is hugely influential among young people in America.
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is, class, TikTok. TikTok, number one.
Oracle's former CEO, Safra Catz.
Just stop there, shall we? What does TikTok do? It's basically a sort of cover, really, for I don't know how you say it, but for it's destroying people's minds, isn't it? It's peddling the dopamine addiction, which means when you get addicted to dopamine, you lose interest in doing stuff in your normal day. So one of the biggest things I ever did, I got so much from reading books. I loved reading books as a kid. I read so many adventure series that when I grew up, I had to go out and travel 86 countries across all 7 continents, becoming, as you know, pilot, skydiver, advanced scuba diver, Antarctic explorer, ultra runner, just about to summit Mount Everest. Like, it's just helped create the best life for me. But what the dopamine does is it means when I go to pick up a book now, because I spend so much time around social media just for my channel and that kind of thing, it's a real hard to get into it because it's not triggering the same response in my brain that it used to. And you think this is now children en masse are not reading books at all. They literally find it hard to sit down and function and focus. And they're playing on the PlayStations, etc., watching the YouTube, watching the TikTok, all these little clicky, flashy videos that are playing havoc with your brainwaves. And so this is why it's a massive thing. It's also a den of debauchery because TikTok promotes young girls dancing around with basically not much on. So I'll let you know. We all criticise Epstein and his island, and quite rightly so, whilst literally saying nothing about TikTok. Bit weird.
Is on record as saying she wants to embed the love and respect for Israel in America's culture.
It violates our policy to have from the river to the sea on your LinkedIn, like all that kind of hate speech. We're just bringing the consequences. And if you want to boycott us, buckle up.
David Ellison, Larry Ellison's son, is the owner of Paramount, which recently took ownership of CBS News. And CBS News is run by Barry Wise, who is self-proclaimed Zionist fanatic.
We need to say out loud that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, full stop.
We saw Larry Ellison on a large screen at this massive World Leaders Summit in Dubai back in February, talking about AI. He was being interviewed by Tony Blair. Blair was asking him about the kind of AI revolution, and Ellison said,
"We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like."
Through our reporting, we found that the UK government is starting to unify their data, and we've seen that the Tony Blair Institute has been advising them to do this.
Okay, I'm going to stop that there. You get the impression. It's a big club. In fact, should we go to George? Where's George? Come on, George. There you are.
There's a reason. There's a reason for this. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Yeah.
And it's all about...
Oi, you! Shut your mouth and look at my wad! Loads of money!
This is a journey into money.
Not quite money, but power. This is why my podcast with Satoshi that's coming up, you cannot miss it, folks, because it puts all this to bed. Now, the whole Charlie Kirk thing has been resurfacing. The Tyler's in court, isn't he? The trouble is, when you lie, it's really hard to be sincere and keep that lie going. And all that comes out of the Charlie Kirk camp, now that he's not there, is just people that have something massive to hide. This is Candice, who's been getting grief. Let's have a look what she's saying.
Now, I wasn't sure about Erica. I was waiting, kind of a situation for her to be in, obviously having lost her husband, becoming the CEO and the chairman of a company. It's just a lot of transition, and it's nice to wait for more information before you prejudge or just assume, make an assumption about somebody, and it maybe is not based in reality. Well, we are getting a lot more of Erica Kirk this week. I'll tell you that, because she has been doing the rounds in the media really over the last couple of weeks, and she just gave an interview live with Harris Faulkner on Fox News, where she finally addressed the quote unquote conspiracy theories. And I have to say this because it's true, but it completely missed the mark. For me, I am sorry, it just has. But the good news is that she is now unmurkying the water in terms of her intentions with this massive political organization. That's good news, truly, because we knew Charlie, and now we are getting an opportunity to know Erica. Plus, later on in the show, it's Knives Out for Tucker Carlson. As always, he's trending right now because he has officially waded into the Who Killed Charlie Kirk narrative. And since he is not a bought and paid for Fed, he is siding with not just the American people, people worldwide. And he says that he's not buying the official narrative. And there are some lingering questions. And he confirms what I told you about the Egyptian planes. So let's jump right back into the.
Okay, the Egyptian plane was carrying, alleged to have been carrying certain agents from a certain small state. You know the place I'm talking about. That landed in America conveniently at the time Charlie was taken out. I believe. So you got you got state agents from one company nipping across to Egypt, hopping on the plane couldn't be traced to a small place, hopping on that plane, then flying over to the USA, committing what we call in the military, a hit or an operation, conducting an operation, and then nipping out again. And incidentally, the place where he was just shot, they've completely landscape gardened it to hide any potential evidence, which has, that takes us back to 9/11, doesn't it? When they shipped off all the steel from the Twin Towers, literally started shipping off all the all the rubble the very next day to China. Tucker Carlson's getting hot on this. And I think what it is they realise the utter horror now that's coming from this dark network and their manipulation of a small state in order to conduct their new world order. It gets even more weird when you look at this. Just play you something here.
It's those little things where, again, he would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
Here I come.
Shabbat Shalom, throw it in.
Yeah, because, I come home on a Friday night and I chuck my phone down, I take my jacket off and I sit down with my family and I start speaking Hebrew. Gaslighting again, aren't they? They think they're so clever, nonchalantly just suggesting that, we all speak a bit of Hebrew, don't we? Because, it's all for the greater... Once you see it, folks, you can't unsee it, can you? And this just says it all. Erica Kirk wants you to stop asking questions about her husband's death.
Talk to me about this part of the conspiracies that are out there, this disturbing part that...
See, they use that word, implemented by the CIA to make anybody who questioned the JFK assassination look stupid. They came up with this term, conspiracy theorists. Here's Fox News setting up setting the place up here so that Erica can come on and completely say that she's not interested at all in any theory that could logically explain why she lost the person she loves the most in the world. No, no one's allowed to even comment on it, which is just bizarre in itself. Finally, right, I'm going to go over to locals, folks. But does this remind you of anything? It really kind of does, doesn't it? The similarities there are no end. So, okay, solutions now. We're going to go to locals and we're going to talk about how you can emancipate yourself from mental slavery, friends. How you can understand all this a bit more, because I can be a little bit more unguarded over there. Just want to shout out. Sorry, the fire alarm keeps going off in this place. Just want to shout out, thank you to everyone that's donated for my Mount Everest summit in May to shine a light for struggling veterans by using my story, my 180,000 people I think I've got on social media, to raise awareness of the link between childhood abuse and PTSD in later life, because no one's talking about this. So I'm going to be doing the rounds, talking to as many people as I can about this, because until we address it, we're going to keep losing veterans to suicide, I'm talking about. And we've all lost too many. So if you can spare a fiver, Everest is expensive, folks. I'm telling you now, I will have to either borrow or be very nice to people for this money. If you can chip in a fiver to help me, some people, as you can see there, Nick Parkinson, thank you ever so much, Nick, have chipped in an awful lot more. There's a link in the comment section below or in the description box below. And the final thing I want to say is we've got, I believe it's 2 places left on our Arctic Legends trip, which is coming up first week of March. If you want to come up to the Arctic and do some cross-country skiing, we'll teach you to cross-country ski and we'll teach you Arctic survival, just like we all did in the Marines. Send me a message. We'll stay in this beautiful adventure centre up there in the Arctic Circle. We'll watch the Northern Lights at night if they're around, which is something that's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. There's my crew of former Royal Marines Commandos. We're going to look after you, don't worry. We won't be doing the shouty thing. And, you know, there's our itinerary. And, yeah. If you're looking at that now and you're like, I'd like to do, then you've got to do it, haven't you? Because you only get one chance in this set of molecules at this live. It doesn't. You don't get, like, you know, a second chance in this set of molecules. And if you know you've got to do it, send me a message and let's make it work for you. Right, let's go over to locals. Can you like and subscribe, folks? That would be awesome. Link for locals below. And thanks to everybody who supported me, whether they become a YouTube member, Patreon, locals, or buy me a coffee. You absolute legends. Much love.
Morning, legends. I'm Chris Thrall. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando. Upon leaving the forces, ended up chronically mentally unwell, self-medicating, undiagnosed trauma, and homeless on the streets of Hong Kong. It was the toughest battle I ever had to fight, but without the support of the medical community, without self-help groups, I learned the answers to rebuild my life and go on to complete a series of extreme charity challenges to send a vital message out there for other veterans who are struggling. I've run the length of the United Kingdom, run across the Sahara Desert, rode across the Atlantic Ocean. Now I'm taking on my biggest challenge yet, climbing Mount Everest. If you can support me, friends, and continue to shine a light for our struggling veterans and let them know there is life after PTSD, I'll put a link below. Can spare a fiver? That's absolutely fine. And let's give our veterans the respect that they deserve. Much love.
No matter